The Rob Carson Show is presented by Chapter, Medicare Guidance Simplified.
You don't need to live with aches and pains. Visit relieffactor.com today.
Now,
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show. It's Hump Day, ladies and gentlemen. It's Hump Day, and my God, we got so much good news today. You just wouldn't even believe the good news. Oh, my God. MAGA kicked butt in Indiana last night. There were 5 of 7 state Senate races, and they tried to gerrymander Indiana for Democrats, and a bunch of Republicans went along with it, and they all got voted the hell out. It's fantastic. Tony Kennett's going to be joining us from the Daily Signal after the top of the next hour, so at 1:05 Eastern Standard Time, he's going to join us. He's an insider there. He lives there, for crying out loud. We got all sorts of great stuff with regard to Iran. The Democrat Party is continuing its death spiral into hell. New poll last night. I just did a little video on this. 76% of the American people believe that we're beating Iran. The Democrat Party, all of a sudden this week, you're not hearing much from them about the Iranian conflict because they were cheering for the Ayatollahs to win. From day one, they were cheering for the Ayatollah to win, and then the gay cardboard Ayatollah, and then whatever else is there now. I don't even have any idea. But the Democrats have been cheering for the defeat of the American forces and the reconstitution of the Ayatollah's regime because all of this goodness and freedom was happening under Donald Trump's watch. They couldn't even bring themselves to celebrate the freedom of 90 million Iranians and the celebrations of Iranian expats around the entire globe and the absolute joy associated with destroying a regime that has caused 47 years of terror around the entire globe. And the Democrat Party was on the losing side from day one. Chris Murphy, day one, when the Ayatollah, the original ungay Ayatollah who wasn't made of cardboard, when they vaporized that son of a gun the first day, and Chris Murphy, we haven't heard much from old Chris Murphy, Chris Comb-Over Murphy, since that day, because he said it was a disaster, and then they went on and they said it was a quagmire, and then they said we were being beaten, and then they tried the Wars Powers resolution last week because they saw victory in front of them, and they needed to snatch victory away from Donald Trump, and then last night we hear this Harvard poll says that 76% of Americans believe we are kicking Iran's arse, and 60% of Democrats are saying that we are beating Iran's arse. And so the Democrat Party, once again, on the wrong side of history, on the wrong side of God, and on the wrong side of good. So we're going to get to all of that on the show, but I think we should start off with everybody's favorite jingle. It's the winning jingle.
We love to win. Winning, so much winning. It's lots of winning.
Lots of winning, lots of winning, lots of winning, lots of winning, lots of winning.
It's oh so good.
What did I tell you? I said we are going to have to operate in a vacuum of any good news being reported by the liberal leftist mainstream media. And guess what? It's getting out there. 76% of us believe that we are kicking Iran's arse. Did I mention that already? Yeah, I think I already did. And it's going to continue as the job numbers are looking incredible. This new report in ADP employment came in pretty high. U.S. private sector hiring experienced most excellent increases, unlike with Joe Biden. Joe Biden would just hire government employees when they needed to fill the numbers. And most of the jobs created during the Biden administration were government work. That's it.
It was better than expected, Maria. We came out at 109,000.
What, really? What? Hold on. Positive numbers from Donald Trump and jobs and everything are better than expected? No, because of course they are, because the leftist media always says, oh, no, it's going to be terrible. And we know that he's doing the right thing for jobs and everything. So consequently, not a surprise to us, just everybody else.
It was better than expected, Maria. We came out at 109,000 for ADP for the month of April. This is the highest number we've seen in 15 months for ADP. Well above the estimate. Last month was only 62,000. So that
was like since Donald Trump was inaugurated, the highest number since Donald Trump was inaugurated. And we flushed Joe Biden and Kamala Harris down the toilet.
A strong number. This tees us up, obviously, for the Friday jobs report. A little bit of pullback on the market, as you can see here, as this number crossed. But look, March was a blowout. about April, at least for ADP. We've got a strong number here.
Well, that's just bad news for Democrats, isn't it? I told you, overwhelm them with joy and patriotism and faith. I had a nice talk with God this morning at church, by the way. Yeah, I went to church. I know. I went to church. Holy crap. I have been to church since Easter. I've been in the sanctuary talking with God at least a dozen times. It's pretty amazing. It's amazing. Washington, D.C. is gearing up for Rededicate 250, which will take place May 17th. I'm there, baby. I'm there on the National Mall, described as a national jubilee of prayer, praise, and thanksgiving. It's going to be a little better than the May Day protests where they were saying, kill Donald Trump's king, and all that crap. As America's semi-sesquicentennial celebration swiftly approaches, the country as a whole is remembering everything God has blessed us with and done since our nation's inception, the celebration of God's providence. I love providence, my favorite word in the world, providence. I'll ask for providence to smile upon me with his sweet face. Will take place on the National Mall May 17th. Will feature scripture, testimony, prayer, rededication of our country as one nation under God. Oh, can you hear the left just howling like banshees as they descend into the pits of hell? Can you hold on just real quick? Can you hear them? I can almost hear them. Here they are. There they are. There goes Adam Schiff. And Chris Murphy. Rose DeLauro. Oh, I love it. That's from the movie Lost Boys. It's a Gen X favorite from around 1989 or so. Rededicate 250 will be rooted in giving thanks for God's presence in our national life throughout 250 years of American history. Ask for his guidance for the next 250 years. Freedom 250, the organization leading the way on America's 250th birthday celebration, shared this on the website. They're going to be Reverend Franklin Graham's going to be there. Mike Johnson's going to be Secretary of War Pete Hegseth. War, what good is it for? Kicking Iran's butt. Yeah, there you go. Marco Rubio's going to be there. Dr. Ben Carson's going to be there. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. Cardinal Timothy Dolan. I want to meet that guy. Love that guy. They're all going to be down there. It's going to be remarkable. Freedom 250 also laid out 3 pillars of the day, which include reflecting on God's providence, sharing personal testimonies of God's healing in our lives and in our land. I can speak from experience. And engaging in a collective expression of gratitude for 250 years of freedom and a unified moment of rededication, asking for God's blessing, and screw all of you who hate America as founded and wanted America to fall. Honestly, bye. Bye. You're not relevant anymore. Dustbin of history. Off you go. Off you go into the dustbin of history. There you go. Here's some other good news. Virginia Democrats are freaking the hell out because, they tried to gerrymander the state. This crazy cat lady of a government, Abigail Scamburglar, she came in and she decided she was just going to gerrymander the whole damn state. And it turns out what they did was unconstitutional and everything. Here is this, he's a Democrat. His name is Dan Turrentine, and he says Democrats are afraid they're going to lose this battle.
Well, I talked to some of those same people yesterday, and what I was told is they now think it's less than 50% that the court will let the certification go through.
Yay.
And what really triggered it, they said, was when the court didn't rule.
This is what happens when you try taxation without representation in one of the states that was a colony that started the United States because of that, you see.
Friday afternoon. The time they don't believe is on their side.
Nope.
And what apparently transpired over the weekend, and this person would know, they're in contact with the people I'm about to say, is that the governor's staff is now snipping at the Senate Majority Leader and House Speaker that they warned them last fall that this would not pass legal review.
Yeah, they said it. They said they were telling them, they're like, no, you better not do this. It's gonna fail. And they're like, no, you're gonna do it anyway because by God, we won. We have a mandate. We're gonna tax your leaf blowers. We're gonna get rid of gas leaf blowers. We're gonna tax your gym memberships and your dog grooming and your Uber Eats and all this other stupid crap they're taxing. They thought they had a mandate. Guess what? They do not. They do not one little bit. And then there's also this. Hold on. The FBI is raiding the office of Virginia Senate Pro Tempore Louise Lucas, according to federal law enforcement officials. This is cool. Wouldn't it be funny to see some Democrats in the state of Virginia go to jail? And I already told you that this governor, this crazy cat lady, she's already a lame duck.
The FBI here telling us today that these are court-authorized criminal search warrants that they are issuing, and they're going into the building behind me. This is the office here in Portsmouth of State Senator Louise Lucas. You can likely see some of the FBI agents behind me. All of the staffers inside this building were told to come outside. I could hear them saying that they were not allowed.
Happy raiding and arresting.
Back of the building. Throughout the last hour, we've been seeing the FBI come and go carrying boxes out of the building. Now, just across the parking lot next to where I am, there is a cannabis dispensary. We know that the state senator is associated with several cannabis locations.
Oh, there you go. She's dealing weed.
In dispensaries. And what we're seeing there, a completely different scene carrying out. SWAT teams arrived with their weapons drawn, telling anyone in the building to come out of the building with their hands up. We also saw at least 3 people being taken away.
Maybe the reason why these Democrats in Richmond are behaving the way they are is because they're high.
Taken into custody.
No, people who are high are much cooler than these idiots.
First, they were put in handcuffs, put on the ground.
Better raid the Taco Bell next door next.
And then they were taken away. So it's a slightly less large presence than we did see earlier, but there still is a good...
Yeah, somebody's in a whole heap of lot of trouble, and the Democrat Party are being stymied after they tried this giant power grab in the state of Virginia. There was a $2.3 billion surplus, and Abigail Scamburglar has come in with all these idiotic taxes, 80 taxes. They're trying to take away the Second Amendment. They call it gun control restrictions. I call them gun control suggestions because I ain't following a damn one of them. How about that? How about that? It's a glorious day in America. We have much good news on the way. Luke Rosiak, investigative reporter, has the story of a lifetime. He told Nick Shirley, "Here, hold my beer." And he went to the state of Ohio, and you will not believe what he has uncovered. It is, and it involves Somalians. I know. All of that is coming up on the show. Here's the number, 800-922-6680. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hey guys, it's Carson. You know my signature phrase, don't catch the stupid. When it comes to Medicare, that's easier said than done. Medicare is overly complex, with thousands of plans, hidden gotchas in the fine print, and rules nobody really explains to you. Many people just pick something and hope for the best. That's why you need to know about Chapter. They're the only advisor that looks at every plan in the country, matches your doctors, your prescriptions, and your situation to a plan that fits your needs. When your call with Chapter is done, you know your doctors are covered. Your prescriptions are matched, and you go from, "I hope I did this right," to, "I know I did." That, my friends, is peace of mind. A call with Chapter is free for my audience, and there's no pressure to sign up. Call Chapter today. Here's the number, 27 Medicare. That's 27 MEDICARE. 27 Medicare for Chapter. No pressure. What's your excuse? Call 27 Medicare and don't catch the stupid yourself. Call 27 Medicare today.
Two girls that Swalwell groped before. They say there's 50, maybe more. It's a sordid tale. Eric should be in jail for all the girls he groped before. It finally forced his resignation. He left the Congress in disgrace. And now we have an explanation why female staffers carried mace. To all the girls that he attacked, and to the women who fought back, Swalwell needs to pay Arrest Eric today for all the girls that he attacked. To all the years that he should serve, a prison stay he does deserve.
Harford County.
The Rob Carson Show podcast is everywhere. Go to Newsmax.com/listen for details.
Number 10 podcast. We reached number 10 in the entire country for political commentary. There you go. So that's pretty awesome. Thank you so much for checking it out on all your usual podcast platforms. Luke Rosiak, I've been interviewing Luke Rosiak for a number of years. When he worked in Washington, D.C., he did a terrific expose on the absolute malignancy of the metro system in Washington, D.C. It was a brilliant piece. That's like 12, 15 years ago. And he's been doing great work ever since. He, as I mentioned, looked at Nick Shirley's work and said, "Hold my beer." And went to Ohio. Here he is talking to Michael Knowles. We're going to talk to him at the bottom of the hour.
First of all, I spent a lot of time researching all these individuals. I went to Columbus and I talked to them, and they manipulate you. They said, I'm going to tell everybody you're racist if you ask me these questions. I mean, they're very upfront about it.
These are Somalians. They're from the meth lab trailer park of the world, which is Somalia.
It's just like, that's the strategy. But, there's a Democrat politician who just kind of on the side founded this home health care business that got $11 million. There's a woman who was a janitor, and she changed the name of her janitorial company to Health, and she got $100,000 the next month from Medicaid. There's a landlord that's buying private planes and sports cars for himself because he's renting office space to hundreds of different home health care firms. And
you know what? Mike DeWine, the miserable governor rhino of the state of Ohio, needs to be held accountable for this. If you run a state so piss poorly that you allow this happening, you will not believe the number of these. It should have been very obvious. $1 billion blueprint behind the Medicaid money scheme. Daily Wire and the great Luke Rosiak. I posted this on Twitter, and I'll post it up I put it on Truth too, at Rob Carson Show. It should have been very obvious. Not only to this state, but to Minnesota, to California, all of these states, this graft and corruption. This is worse than the Soviet Union. We were worse than the Soviet Union. I mean that with every ounce of my being. Much worse than the Soviet Union as far as fraud is concerned. We have become the most corrupt country in the face of the earth. We are the most corrupt country on the face of the earth. The Democrat Party and many of the Republicans, the largest crime family in the history of mankind, right here in the United States of America, taking advantage of our generosity. You filthy, rotten SOBs. People have got to go to jail. And I'm talking about politicians like Tim Fleitz and Ilhan Omar and even old jackweed Governor Mike DeWine in the state of Ohio for allowing this to fester and grow, for nobody telling them anything. Please. You can't be this inept that you lose billions in California, up to $500 billion in fraud from home health care, from hospice care, from all these other, the damned train to nowhere and all of this. It is utterly, utterly inexcusable, and people need to go to jail. Unbelievable. Rob Schmidt on Newsmax last night was talking about this. Remember I told you that they increased the size of the federal government 40% when they unleashed COVID on it? They paid for it. They bought it. Anthony Fauci helped pay for the damn thing, created it, unleashed it on the world. Should go to jail or be lined up against a wall for it because he created genocide. But they increased the size of our federal government by 40%. And then, as I said a couple of years ago, I said they raided the Treasury. Listen to Rob Schmidt with regard to what Biden did with Medicaid and what it became.
The biggest job in New York, 650,000 people, the biggest employment niche is home care. These are family members who are getting paid to do things that
Kathy Hochul needs to be investigated and indicted as well.
They used to do as family members for free. This is rife with fraud because we have no way at CMS to determine whether they actually perform that duty or not. And it's one of the reasons that Medicaid doubled during the Biden administration, because we are paying for fraud now as much as for medicine.
Medicaid doubled during the Biden administration.
Wow.
The amount, can you fathom? Imagine being in a business and a $500 billion line item just doubles and nobody in your business cares.
No.
That's the reality of government.
This is all the time while we were suffering and our business were closed and we told we couldn't go to church and our kids couldn't go to school. And these filthy sons of they're driving friggin' Bentleys. They're stealing us blind.
And they want more of your money. Medicaid doubled under Biden. Just a reminder of that.
Unbelievable. And here's Rob Schmidt. Check this out. You won't believe the number of people who are on some sort of Medicaid. Listen to this.
Of the scam is insane in New York,
Listen.
And we're hopeful to see some better reporting come out of this state. 171 home health aides, that's what they call them. You sign up, you take care of mom, and you get paid thousands a month just to live at home and be a bum. 171 home health aides in the state of New York per 1,000 residents. That triples the national average. We're sending money
17%.
to 171 out of every 1,000 homes in the state.
Yeah, and this is happening in New York. This is happening in Ohio. Luke Rosiak's going to cover this in just a moment. It is so bloody disgusting. So disgusting. You can't open a Leering Center, so chances are you're just going to have to invest your own money wisely. Gold is a great way to do that. Right now, Birch Gold is giving you up to $10,000 rebate on qualifying purchases when you invest in gold. It's going through to May 28th. Birch Gold giving you first-time gold buyers a rebate up to $10,000. For details and free information on diversifying into gold, text ROD to the number 989898. Birch Gold can help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA and physical gold. You can't open a Leering Center. You can't open a fake and fraudulent home health care center because you have a soul and you're a good and decent person and you love America. So maybe you ought to invest your money in a legal and awesome way. Text Rob to the number 989898 to see if you qualify for a first-time gold buyer rebate up to $10,000. How's that? All right, I've got my money is with Birch Gold. You know it. You know it. Their word is as good as gold. Thank you very much. Rob to 989898. The great Luke Rosiak, Daily Wire, joins us next. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Carson for Ghost Bed. I am sleeping better than I've ever slept in my entire life. I used to think a mattress was just furniture, but I got a Ghost Bed. Ghost Bed doesn't build mattresses like furniture. They build engineered sleep systems. Their beds are serious health equipment. Beds designed for relief and recovery, not looks. Your body should be healing while you sleep, not fighting for comfort. I noticed immediately. My first night on a Ghost Bed, I slept for 10 hours. If you're waking up stiff, tossing and turning, sleeping hot, even reaching for a pain reliever before bed, hoping tonight will be different, that's not aging. That's your mattress talking. Here's another thing I love about Ghost Bed. You get 101 nights to try it at home. If you don't like the difference, just send it back risk-free. Ghost Bed is currently having their Memorial Day sale plus an extra 10% off for my audience. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson and use promo code Carson. Ghostbed.com/Carson. Promo code Carson for the sleep of a lifetime. My entire life, my bedding has just been bedding. I got the least expensive stuff I could find. Have you noticed your sheets slipping off the corners lately? Maybe your pillows just don't feel supportive anymore. Most people actually keep their bedding way longer than they should. It slowly wears down, and you don't realize how much it's affecting your sleep. That's why I upgraded to Boll & Branch. They make everything your bed needs. Their signature organic cotton sheets, pillows, blankets, and comforters are all designed to be breathable, incredibly soft, and get better over time. Most people start out with their signature sheets. I added the waffle blanket, and now the whole bed just feels amazing. The moment you get Boll & Branch is the moment you discover the difference. Upgrade your sleep with Boll & Branch. Get 15% off your first order plus free shipping at bollandbranch.com. That's BOLL and branch.com/Rob Carson. Promo code Rob Carson. That's Boll & Branch, BOLLAND branch.com/Rob Carson. Code Rob Carson to unlock 15% off. Exclusions apply. Hey guys, it's Rob Carson for Relief Factor. There's a reason why at my age I can still crush it at the gym, carry an armchair by myself, or do any home improvement project without pain during or after, and that's Relief Factor. When it comes to supplements, the two things that matter most, it works and you trust it. Relief Factor was created by a combat-wounded Vietnam veteran. He decided to become a doctor simply to help people, to heal them. If pain is holding you back, find out why so many people, including me, make Relief Factor a part of their daily routine. Try the 3-week quick start today. Go to relieffactor.com. That's relieffactor.com. Or call 800-4RELIEF. That's 800-4RELIEF for Relief Factor.
No windows on the outside helps hide the fact that there's nobody inside, but when you go in, it's really obvious. The place is deserted. It's it's downright creepy. There is no one in any of the offices. They're dark. Curtains are drawn. Some of them have notes that are like, we'll be back in a few minutes, and you can tell it's been that way for months.
One of the most explosive stories I've ever seen in my life. I was mentioning all morning that Luke Rosiak with Daily Wire, I've been corresponding with him for years, following his work. I said, he said to Nick Shirley, here, hold my beer. And went to Columbus, Ohio, and he joins us on the Newsmax hotline. Luke, how you doing, my friend?
Hey, Rob, I love it. Thanks.
Oh, brother. I got these two big stories: the $1 billion blueprint behind the Medicaid money scheme, and then also the Daily Wire investigation reveals one of the biggest government waste scandals hiding in plain sight. This is Ohio. This is Somali. 7 massive complexes, largely abandoned, filled with home health care fraud. I don't even know where to start, so I'll let you start. What did you find?
Well, DOGE released data that shows what companies are getting paid from Medicaid, which is a huge deal. We always should have had this transparency because Medicaid is a huge portion of the federal budget. But the new welfare queens aren't people that are on poverty programs. They're the companies that bill Medicaid for supposedly providing services to poor people. And most of this fraud we've seen in Minnesota is because they're doing Medicaid with these waivers that let them do extra stuff, even though it's federal money. Ohio is a red state, but it also has very permissive waivers, and it also has the second biggest population of Somalis after Minneapolis. And apparently that's a very bad combination, to have programs that really rely on trust and then to have these people from a low-trust society, because I looked at the data, and I basically had the computer lead me to the sketchiest things that were going on in the country. And it took me to Columbus, Ohio, and sure enough, everybody there was Somali. I mean, literally like 99% was from some African country. And they've got these companies that are middlemen for people who are actually, for the most part, getting paid to hang out with their own families, if you can believe it. Yeah. So it started as like, if you're old and you need, instead of going to a nursing home, we'll send a nurse to your house to help you out because it's cheaper. But then that evolved to, well, it doesn't have to be a nurse. It can be like a housekeeper. That can just clean and cook for you, and then that evolved to, it can be your own family member. And so pretty soon all the Somalis claim to be disabled, and then they have their own family paid to hang out with them. And it doesn't have to be medical services, literally companionship and conversation is one of the things that these firms advertise. And so you have what I call Somali butlers, paid by free butlers for Somalis, paid by the taxpayer.
Well, they were so blatant about it. You said you stumbled upon this. It's owned by the Cordoba, I guess, is the name of the company. Cordoba Real Estate. Not sure if they were associated with the fraud, but they allowed it to happen in their buildings. You said that there were 288 businesses registered with Medicaid. They charged taxpayers more than $250 million between 2018 and 2024. That's where a city, only 6,273 people, 75 or older, are on Medicaid. Unbelievable, Luke.
Yeah, I mean, it was so creepy to go into these buildings. It's obvious that there's almost nobody in these buildings, and you can just pick a door, and it's got some name of an LLC, and you look it up, and it's some Somali. And he's got other businesses on the side, oftentimes like a trucking job, multiple other industries they're working in. They typically have tax debts, so they're getting paid millions of dollars by the government, and then they're not even giving back a proceed. No. And so that's what really seems weird, that you would come here from a third world country where you're making very little money, and then you get rich off of our country that took you in, and you don't even pay taxes out of the huge riches that you've got. So something really strange is going on, and because a lot of times they're getting paid to hang out with their own family, other times they claim to have a roster of people who they visit that aren't family members, but they could be part of the same Somali clan. They could be people that are getting kickbacks in exchange for saying, yeah, you can use my social security number and just claim you're coming here. There's no way to know whether people are going to private residences at specific times. There's no way to audit that. There's no way to prove it's fraud. And so a lot of this is basically waste, because the people in charge of Ohio have actually said, yeah, this is fine. We'll pay people to hang out with their family. But other parts are fraud, And then the kind of the worst part is some of it is fraud that would be, some of it is likely fraud that would be hard to prove. Because how are you going to prove that? How are criminal investigators going to prove in court that you didn't go to your cousin's house on some Tuesday a year ago? Unless you've got cameras on everybody's house.
Okay, I'm so beyond, my head's going to damned explode from all of this. I said that a couple of years ago I said we were more corrupt than the Soviet Union ever dreamed of being, but we've got $7 trillion in money to do it. They increased the size of Medicaid. They doubled the size of Medicaid during Joe Biden's presidency. They increased the size of the budget, the federal budget, by 40%, and they looted the Treasury ever since. And what's really filthy, rotten, stinking corrupt about this is that Mike DeWine, the rhino, wretched piece of crap that he is, and every government official supposedly in charge of overseeing our spending, fraud in the state, they didn't do a damn thing about it. And you cannot be this bad a manager. You cannot have an AG in a state be this inept that it allows this sort of graft to happen, particularly when you see the funding go through the ceiling, particularly when they had billboards. They had billboards advertising, didn't they, for this home health care fraud in Columbus?
Yeah, I mean, the billboard advertises that they'll pay you to hang out with your family because Mike DeWine has said that's okay. Mike DeWine also claimed, after reading just part 1 of my 5-part series, because the other parts hadn't even come out yet,
yes,
oh, there's nothing to see here in the Daily Wire. And it's like, I find that really interesting, because when I went there, I got the sense that everybody had their head in the sand about fraud. And then when he declares that the Daily Wire didn't show fraud, when he didn't even stay tuned for the series, which is still rolling out every day this week, it's like he's not interested, because you look up these people. I mean, for example, pick any company, like one of them, the address where it was incorporated at was the teenage son of a convicted money launderer. And he's just like, yeah, that's fine.
Oh, my God. I were in the Cordoba property on Roche Avenue. It had been very clear that there was one JLL Home Care where the door doesn't even have a door knob. We're darned with a "sorry, we're closed" sign. Down the hall, First Choice Home Health Care. When we visited, there was an envelope sitting on the door, postmarked 5 months prior, from the Ohio Attorney General's Office, Bureau of Criminal Investigation. So they sent him a letter, no response. It's still sitting there, and there was no action from the AG's office to maybe go, I don't know, maybe we should do a follow-up.
Yeah, it's wild, and there's all these audits where they're like, and this is the only way they get caught for lying, is the person will be in the hospital, so they're billing Medicaid. The hospital is billing Medicaid at the same time that this home health care claims to have hung out with them all day at their house. And so at that point, Medicaid's like, I know you didn't go to their house, because they weren't at their house. They were in the hospital. But all they have to do is pay back for those specific visits. But for all the other thousands of times that they said they went to people's houses, it's just like, yeah, we'll just keep taking your word for it. So, free butlers for Somalis is $1 billion a year just in Ohio.
And then we also found out that the second highest amount of money being laundered and carried onto airplanes in the United States was the pipeline between Columbus, Ohio, and Minneapolis. And then they spent up to $700 million in cash flown over to Somalia. Most of it going, or a good share of it going, to Al-Shabaab terrorists, for God's sake. I mean, this is just unbelievable. Luke, can you hold on through the break? This is just part 2 here, brother. I'm going to have you on every day for a friggin' month, I swear. Can you hold on?
Sure.
All right, very good. DailyWire.com, Luke Rosiak. Part 2 is out. Many more to come. More on this coming up. Let's take a break. This is The Rob Carson Show.
I'm the leader of the fraud task force in Washington. And people have asked me, is that a hard job? And I say, well, let me think. Finding fraud in the federal government, it's kind of like fishing in a barrel with dynamite. Every week, I get a report from the task force. You know, we have our weekly meeting, and I am shocked every single day by the things that we find.
Yeah, that is J.D. Vance. I'm looking down the Twitter feed, and I'm wondering, Luke Rosiak, by the way, who's uncovered massive fraud in Ohio. Have you been contacted by anyone from J.D. Vance's office for this fraud task force that he heads up?
Well, if you're looking at his Twitter feed, you'll see that he commented on my tweet and said, as a result, he's going to be sending in the fraud task force to Columbus. We've still got articles rolling out at Daily Wire every day this week, so they're going to want to gather those facts. And then it'll be interesting to see if anything happens. Because, yeah, this is J.D. Vance's home state. This is a Republican state.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, this is, if we can't get fraud under control there, then I don't know what that says.
Yeah, by the way, Vivek Ramaswamy won the gubernatorial primary last night by every county. And if Vivek becomes the governor, there's going to be a colonoscopy of the state government of the state of Ohio. Luke, you've covered a lot of things over the years. I've never seen. I mean, your work is always great. I've never seen the explosion that you have created. This is a nuclear bomb going off. How has your life been since Monday? And you started to share these stories. It must be unbelievable as an investigative reporter.
Yeah, it's been really busy. I haven't slept very much. I mean, every Republican running for office in Ohio has commented on the story. I think like a tenth of Congress has weighed in. But yeah, this home health, these Medicare waivers, home health and then personal services is the technical jargon for when you're not even a nurse, you're just hanging out. This is something that the policymakers have to figure out separately from fraud. Let's just call it waste. You know, rather than hunting down the Ahmed Mohammed and the Mohammed Ahmed, and is this the same person? And
yeah.
Is he, when he gets in trouble, is this other guy with this very similar name his brother? Did he just move the assets over there? It's very time-consuming.
Wow.
I spent months on this, and I think I did it accurately, but it would be very laborious and kind of like playing whack-a-mole for the feds to find to prosecute and stop all this. The easiest way is just to stop people from hanging out with their own families by getting paid. Older people, we want you to spend time with grandpa. We want you to spend time with your mom. Help her out, stop by after work and vacuum her floors. But you shouldn't be doing that because the government's paying you. It's something that decent people do.
Yeah.
And if you would only do it if the government pays you, then frankly, we're only rewarding like the worst people that wouldn't even help their own family unless they can cash in on it.
What's even worse is in the state of Minnesota, for instance, there are people who are being paid for saying their children had autism. And consequently, and it was crazy because it went from like $7 million in autism funding to $400 million, and nobody in the Minnesota freaking state government noticed it. Honestly, and I think every one of the people who did that, every parent who signed up their kid, even though they didn't have autism, should be denaturalized and deported. I got to watch my language. Every one of them got to be deported. This is unbelievable. And it all it all happened with Doge. And that the Democrat Party is involved. I know we can't allege anything right now, but that the Democrat Party was involved because they went after Elon Musk immediately when he suggested cutting all this. This is a part of what I would consider to be the world's largest organized crime family. There is no doubt in my mind the Democrat Party and to some degree a Republican establishment were involved in this, working with allowing this stuff to happen, getting votes, particularly in Minnesota. Everybody knows the Somali community that it is corrupt as hell as far as the voting is up there. There's been allegations that were shut down, all of this. So I'm glad you're exposing this.
100% of it came from directly or indirectly.
Of course it did. Hold on.
The assassination of the Lebanese president.
I don't know where that is.
I guess his name
Hold on.
Camille in the 70s.
We've been knocked off the air.
And with
hold on.
Hezbollah.
Rob, you hear me?
Yeah, hold on one second, Brian.
Yeah,
Can you hear me? Hold on. Do we have a technical issue? Hello, are you there? Brian, can you hear me? I am connected somehow. We apparently have lost the connection with Brian, and I'm not sure if I'm on the air or not. So I think the stream is on, but I'm still talking, and I don't know what's going on. Stream is too many problems until we... Okay. Brian, am I on? I'm going to try this again. Am I on? We should be able to do this as professionals and not have any issues. Can you hear me, Brian? We are on the air. We hope to get back with Luke Rosiak in just one moment. And what we're going to do is take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
You'll fit right in with the Garden Club. Every hour throughout the day. Breaking news, stimulating talk. Only on Talk Radio 680, WCBM, and 99.9 FM in Harford County.
You have 4 minutes here, Rob.
We got cut off from Luke Rosiak. Luke Rosiak, Daily Wire. Northeast Columbus, Ohio has seen its economy replaced by businesses that bill Medicaid. With the second largest Somali population in the country, has become on the surface the most unhealthy city on the planet. In 40 seconds driving Cleveland Avenue, you come along endless home health care companies, Capital Home Health, Continental Home Health. They were broadcasting fraud to the entire world, and nobody in government noticed it. Luke, are you there?
I'm there. Yes, exactly. This was not exactly a secret. I mean, all of this was happening just miles from the state capitol building, which is run by Republicans. But this somehow, basically, Medicaid is like half of Ohio's state budget, and then Medicaid like doubled over the last few years. You know, it's a huge deal, and we basically can't pay people to hang out with their own families, especially, you know, you have these Somalis, some of them companies have clients that are not families, but it could be members of the Somalian clan. You know, they have networks that they use, just like you saw with the autism, where they're farming Social Security numbers and getting kickbacks potentially, but it's all very difficult to prove. Same with the doctors who are signing off, you know, claiming that everybody is disabled. But it's, I mean, free butlers for Somali refugees. Unreal. I mean, who would even think would be
unbelievable. Nearly every owner of a healthcare company in Columbus is foreign. They live in a parallel society where every associate in public records has a foreign name. All of their business transactions are conducted with other foreigners. It is a massive fraud scandal. How many more pieces do you have? You've got 2 as of today. How much more do we have, and what else? Give us a little.
It's going to be at least one coming out Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and
wow.
You know, later today. You know, you'll hear from a guy with an extensive criminal record who's running a $1 million Medicaid scheme, or Medicaid company, I guess you would say.
Is the federal government going to cut off the funds here? Because obviously they've shut down these hospice care centers, 400 plus in L.A. County, and none of them have complained because obviously it was fraudulent. Is the gravy train going to be running out here?
I just worry about the whack-a-mole element. You know, it very well may start 500 new hospices in L.A. You know, it's pretty easy to just start a new LLC. So I think ultimately politicians are going to have to look at ending the practice of some of these Medicaid waivers.
100%. Well, Luke, I want to congratulate you on the job you're doing. You've done a yeoman's effort as an investigative reporter. It's got to be an amazing time to be an investigative reporter right now, while the rest of the media sits on their asses and rip and reads talking points from Democrats. It's got to be amazing for you.
Yeah, there's nobody else blowing up that dynamite in the barrel, as J.D. Vance said. So it makes it kind of easy.
Well, I appreciate your time. I know you're bloody busy. You were on Daily Wire, of course. Luke Rosiak on social media. I hope to talk to you again soon. Good luck, Godspeed, and great work, brother.
Thanks, Rob.
All right, very good. We'll talk again soon. Remarkable. Luke Rosiak is amazing. Coming up after the top of the hour, Tony Kennett, Daily Signal, is going to be joining us to talk about a massive victory for MAGA Republicans in the state of Indiana. Rhinos there who played with Democrats and challenged Donald Trump got their rear ends kicked. That's coming up. Don't go anywhere.
to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Dustin Grove in the WTHR newsroom on what has become a historic election night here in Indiana, a primary election. One of the big headlines we're following is the growing number of state senators who have lost their seats tonight. President Trump went after a number of state senators who voted against his redistricting plan, and it appears to have worked.
Yeah.
Take a look at this. So far, State Senate District 1, the incumbent, Dan Durnall, knocked off tonight by Trump-endorsed challenger Trevor DeVries.
Good luck
Over
in the private
here,
sector.
incumbent Linda Rogers lost her seat tonight to challenger Brian Schmutzler up in District 11. That's in the South Bend area. Moving on, Senate District 19. Republican challenger Blake Fichter defeated longtime high-ranking State Senator Travis Holdman tonight. Political experts say this means President Trump basically can still have a major impact on statewide races, and you can bet lawmakers in...
freak? Wow. Oh, my goodness, Tony Kennett. I was watching all this news coming out. I said, oh, God, it's going to be... You won't be able to sleep tonight. Tony Kennett, Daily Signal, and, of course, does a great show there in the America's Heartland, Indianapolis, Indiana, on WIBC. Tony, how you doing, bro?
I'm pretty excellent. And I will be right up front with you. Just let's, cut right to the brass tacks.
You were right. There, you were right. There you go. What?
No, believe it or not, that's actually not where I'm going to go. I know that this is exactly what I would do. No. I have something totally different.
What?
You and I do the exact same thing. We have been pleading for years. One thing. Care about the primaries. Have we not? Yes. On your couch out on the coast, here when we've talked, when you visited my house in Indiana, when we've been on the air, every radio show, every TV show, if I have one dream, it is that the American people recognize their duty as citizens. Yes. It's not just to care about the presidential election once every 4 years. You care about the primaries and off-year elections.
Yes.
That is key. And what we saw is more incumbents removed than any primary in the last 50 years.
Oh, it's so glorious. A lot of people do these cold plunges, but I guess in Indiana, the bloodbath is more important right now. People are doing a lot of bloodbaths.
And you know what? I will gladly run around with the nice, soothing bath salts and make that bloodbath as enjoyable for people as possible. That's why I'm not running around going, oh, Tony's right, he's amazing. No. The Hoosiers that came out and voted, I am so proud of. I was thrilled to be among those. I went and voted, and I'm happy to say that there were a few who actually came up and said, we came out to vote today because you encouraged us to. I'm on cloud nine because I'm seeing Americans taking care of business.
Yeah, did you see what happened in Ohio with Vivek Ramaswamy? Won every damn county.
Every county. The Nick Fuentes moron didn't win a single thing, whatever that guy. And then, of course, the former Ohio AG, the current Ohio AG, who'd already dropped out because turns out when there's a big, huge Somali fraud problem, that's not really looking too good, AG.
Yeah, and we just had Luke Rosiak on last hour. Luke Rosiak, he's now with, of course. And dude, he's still got 3 or 4 more big releases to happen this week. He's already got 2, and I told him, you looked at Nick Shirley and said, hold my beer.
He and then Trey Prather from the Capital Research Center. We've got them on tonight to go a little bit more in detail on what has been said. Obviously, again, to actually see a country looking at this stuff and saying, I'm not doing any of this.
Yes.
It's the rewarding feeling. I feel like a teacher watching kids get really great jobs and graduate. Like it's the exact same feeling right here, right now.
We've got some great things happening in Virginia too. The Democrat Party rammed through a redistricting in a state that was actually a colony that started the American Revolution because of taxation without representation. Oh, that's a good move. That's a good move, Democrats. And then they rammed it through, completely disregarding the rules, and it's unconstitutional. And so the feces is hitting the fan here in Virginia. They really overplayed their hand, didn't they?
They always do.
I know.
This is what, and this, by the way, this is the fun thing that you really would hope that some of the populist side of the Republican Party that's turned into the kind of Tucker Carlson goobers, that these fools would remember. You should pay attention. The left always goes way too far, way too fast. They never wait. They never hedge their bets. They're like, we're going to do free everything. And then in 2 months, okay, New Yorkers, we're out of money again.
Yeah.
This is the third time I've come out here to announce I spent all the money, and now all of the millionaires and billionaires won't give me anymore because they're leaving.
You heard that, what's his name? I'm trying to remember the billionaire that they targeted the other day, Ken Griffin. He's pulling up stakes, man. He's like, I'm out of here. And when when Zoran Mandami tapped on the glass and said, hey, we're taxing, he got creeped out and literally felt terrorized by it. So he's like, screw you. I'm taking the project and I'm out of here, man.
Well, the openly communist mayor of Seattle.
Yes.
She was up there, said, what do you say about not just billionaires, but millionaires, 100,000-aires that are leaving the Washington state area because, they're going to confiscate all of their stuff. And she said, bye. That's what I have to say to them. Bye-bye. And so they're all leaving. And look, they want to come to Indiana. They want to come to Florida. Hopefully when you guys get Virginia taken care of, they want to move to Virginia. Awesome.
Yeah.
Good.
So for those who don't know, tell us exactly why these rhinos in the state of Indiana got their teeth kicked in last night.
2 reasons, and 2 reasons alone. Reason number 1, they have not produced anything of value. In a red state like Indiana, when you have a supermajority, stagnation and apathy are the names of the game.
Yep.
People are tired of that. Yep. They're tired of hearing all this, we're going to do all this stuff just to hear that you've given another land grant to the Chamber of Commerce or this whatever, blah, blah, blah nonsense.
Yep.
They're tired of no results.
Yep.
Number 2, they are tired of being given crappy excuses for things that average Americans can reason in about 5 minutes, that being redistricting.
Yes.
Trump said, hey, it's a national game. We need to redistrict because there are these racially gerrymandered districts, and I don't like it. We need to get the whole voting situation under control. Yes. And these state senators said no. And the lady I used to page for, Jean Lysing, one of the people that said, well, actually, my grandson got a text about redistricting. That's targeted harassment. It was a mass political text, and that's why she voted no. So those that were up for re-election here, the incumbents in Indiana, they got their teeth kicked in because voters simply said, at least have the common courtesy to explain to me why we are making one of the most vile, disgusting members of Congress, Andre Carson, an institution by giving him a racially gerrymandered district in the center of the state.
Yeah.
Bleeping why? And that's what voters came out and showed.
Oh, dude, I got to tell you. Oh, by the way, just got news on the chat. It looks like Rudy Giuliani's been released from the hospital. Thank you, God.
Thank God.
Yeah, brother. Woof. Woof. There, I'll tell you what, bro. There's something happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear, but I know it's good beating bad. You've got people like Van Jones saying that the Democrat Party has gone off the rails when they say that he says that they should have more John Fettermans. Van Jones said that. Van Jones says the Democrat Party has gone so left, and they've really, dude, if you think the Democrat Party is going to take the midterms, you got some sweet weed that must be legal where you are.
Now, hang on just a quick second, because this is, obviously I agree with you. I think that the group that is the cockiest heading into the midterms is usually the group that's about to get their teeth kicked in. All right, that's the truth.
Yes.
However, I will argue that it's still, a couple of things still need to go right.
Yes.
And we still need the House and the Senate to actually decide, well, excuse me, not the House. This is not at all Mike Johnson's fault.
No.
We need the Senate to actually decide they're doing things.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this does boil down at some point to some direct presidential pressure on the Senate.
Yes.
I don't know necessarily how that looks just yet, but it's not over yet. This is shaping up to be a good midterm fight.
I know.
But this is
Dude, I'm not taking anything for granted, brother. I'm not taking anything for granted. We are in the war. We're in a war. They declared war on us. We are in the middle of civil war. It's been going on for 9 years. I like to say that we've been in a political prison for 9 years, and it's time for us. We are greater in numbers to kick the prison guards' asses. And those are the people who are doing the No Krings protests. Those are the people who are out paid for by Neville Singham and George Soros and all this, and the Democrat Party leadership. By the way, it's time to overwhelm the prison guards and take over the prison, because we've got a country to save. So obviously we all need to be motivated, and something has to be done with that Senate. Something has to be done with John Thune. Something has to be done with blowing up the filibuster. I can go on and on. But by God, they'd better do something, because now you've seen what happens when they don't in the Senate in Indiana.
Absolutely. And that, again, for the future, you see now additional pressure being put on South Carolina for their state Senate, which is excellent. You see additional pressure coming down the line for a whole host of states. It is a very good thing. I actually have kind of some insider info here that Indiana may be about up for some redistricting anyway, even before midterms, because, again, some of the lines of the Indianapolis district, House District 7, are drawn using old redlining maps on two of its borders.
100%.
It only takes one lawsuit, and then that's before the election.
I love it, brother. Well, Tony Kennett, I appreciate you taking the time. We normally reserve our conversations for Fridays. Tell me about your show. Where can people watch your show tonight, bro?
YouTube.com/Daily Signal is the best place. I have other exciting news I can't share just yet, so there's the tease. Rob,
What time?
7 p.m. Eastern, God's time zone.
I'll be watching it, brother. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hey guys, it's Carson. If you are on Medicare or about to be, you could be overpaying right now and never know it. Here's why. Millions of seniors are in a plan that doesn't fit their needs. Because Medicare is complicated, many brokers just steer people into plans that pay them the most. That's absurd. That is so absurd, I decided to write a little slogan for it. Medicare sure ain't fair, and choosing a plan is a bear. Pick a plan with a broker if you dare, and you might end up with a scare. Okay, listen, it's a little rough. You need to know about Chapter. They're the only national advisor that looks at every plan in the country, matches your doctors, your prescriptions, and your situation to a plan that fits your needs. With Chapter, you'll see what a plan actually costs when you need it, not just the $0 some plans advertise. Your doctors are covered and your prescriptions are too. You'll have confidence you have the coverage you need. A call with Chapter is free, takes about 20 minutes. If you're turning 65 or already on Medicare, call 27 Medicare. Again, that's 27 MEDICARE. Call 27 Medicare today.
Got to rejoin. Yeah.
But in most places on earth, they believe that your rights come from your government and from your laws. But ours was founded on the belief that your rights come from your Creator and from God.
He calls the shots in the Republican Party, and if you go against that, he will pour his wrath out upon you, and it doesn't typically turn out well. As Harry Enton has said before, go against Trump in a primary, and you wind up in the grinder, and that's what happened in Indiana. To me, what I was looking for tonight was the forward-looking lessons here. For instance, what's going to happen in Kentucky in a couple of weeks in that 4th congressional district where Thomas Massie is the one congressional Republican who has been the biggest thorn in Donald Trump's side. They have poured millions into that race, and a lot of people are wondering, could he withstand a challenge from a Trump-backed a challenger there? If you look at what happened in Indiana tonight, and you're Thomas Massie tonight, or you're anybody else in a primary right now where Trump's on the other side of you, you got to be thinking, this is a bad night for me. But
yeah, MAGA support of Donald Trump is 98 to 100%. It's not going to go anywhere. I mean, you can dream all you want. You can come up with some sort of idiotic headline that says, "Oh yeah, MAGA support is slipping." It's not. You don't even know what we've been through. You don't even know how devoted we are to the movement. It's not necessarily about Donald Trump himself, but the movement and what we expect from it. That's it. It is meant to preserve the Union. It is based on how corrupt and awful this Union had become and taking our country back from the forces of darkness that have made it so awful. You have no idea who you're messing with. You have no idea. It's not going to turn back. The Republican Party is never going to be the party that it was. It's never going to be the party of George Bush, George H.W. Bush. It's never going to be the party of Mitt Romney ever, ever, ever again. That's it. We had our reformation. Now the Democrat Party needs to do the same thing. And you as Democrats need to do the same thing. You need to gut your party of the filth and corruption that guides it, of the nonsense that guides it, of the mania that guides it. Everything from abortion till birth and transgenderizing children. Are you out of your mind? You as a human being who might have morals, you as a human being who might believe in God, you cannot stay in the Democrat Party as it is. You've got to gut it. We gutted ours. There are still people in our party who are pulling the same crap, thinking like the Ayatollahs in Iran that they can wait us out. We aren't going anywhere. We aren't going anywhere. No. We're getting stronger. We're in the middle of another revolutionary war. It's not firing shots, but it is a battle. It is a battle. And it's going to be decided in the midterms. And we aren't going to let our country slip. We aren't going to let the Democrat Party take over and go after our president again. Because if they try that, there's going to be much bigger hell to pay than you could even imagine. If you try to impeach our president and we go through this again, we ain't going to do it. We are not going to do it. That's it. And it's easy for me to blow it. It's either easy for me to talk about this. You see people online who do this. They do these little videos. We're going to come after you and all this. I've got 81 million people behind me who are saying the same damn thing. The same thing. Yeah. This is Mark Penn. He is a pollster, formerly worked with the Clinton administration. This is not good for Democrats, which I say is great. It's not good for the people in power of the Democrat Party. It is good for decent, common sense Democrats. I know you're out there.
Real question is, has the Democratic Party moved too far to the left to be acceptable? Are candidates like Platner, and obviously Mandami and AOC get so much publicity, and obviously Jeffries, in order to get the speakership himself, has moved so much more aggressively left in terms of the rhetoric. Is this party going to go into the midterms and move back to the center, or is it going to really be seen as
let them self-immolate
too far to the left?
Encourage them. Oh yeah, you definitely want to double down on the transgender children.
Right now, you can see in the polls that despite the fact that the voters are unhappy with the economy and the Republicans, they obviously think that the Democratic Party has drifted too far to the left, and that's why it's coming out lower than the Republicans in virtually every poll.
And what sane adult wants to be a part of this?
Joyful, radical,
peaceful resistance with the Portland Frog Brigade.
I'm the co-founder of the Portland Frog Brigade.
Hey, Mr. Tangerine Man.
Writer of sexy books, Stacey Abrams.
Trump was on the Jeffrey Epstein plane.
It really should be called the state of the unethical.
He is a fascist.
Tragically, we're now in a country of, by, and for.
Now keep going down this road, man. Just do it. You will get your rear end kicked up between your shoulders. Van Jones, he's a communist. Van Jones was a communist. May still be a communist for all I know. And he says, like, for instance, John Fetterman is the odd man out. John Fetterman is the odd man out of the Democrat Party. I mean, some of his views are nuts, socially nuts. But at least he knows, I don't know, maybe we should support our military in a time of military conflict when they're destroying the greatest sponsor of terror in the history of mankind in Iran. All of that stuff. Here is Van Jones talking about the Democrat Party and John Fetterman.
Look, I think he is a moderate Democrat, and that should not be illegal in this party. My God, you have to agree on 100% of the Berkeley, California agenda to be a Democrat? It doesn't make any sense. Like, it just shows you how nutty things have gotten that somebody who wants to stick up for Israel and doesn't want an open border is somehow now has to be a Republican. That's completely insane.
Yeah. It is insane.
Shame on you! Shame on you! Shame!
This is Democrats in Minnesota.
Hey! If your wife is up on her too, you have to all you can't to me. You can't gain me. Get the out of here. Get the out. Nobody wants you here. Right. Get the out. Walk the out, you stupid. If you didn't have a gun.
Well. There you go, Democrats. That's your party right now. Oh man. There's no saving that party. There's no saving that party. And I love it. I told you, I said that the Democrat Party would have to completely reform itself or disappear into the dustbin of history, and they are disappearing in the dustbin of history. I said that 80% of us believe the country is headed in the wrong direction. 80% of us can come together and save her. 80%, I believe, of, well, maybe not that many, but a good share of Democrats, rank-and-file Democrat voters who have families, who live in cul-de-sac neighborhoods, who haven't told their friends who are MAGA Republicans that they want nothing to do with them. They are looking at their party going, seriously, what the hell? And I would recommend that you get on the right side of good and God and tell your party to reform itself and gut its national leadership like we did ours. We still have hangers-on like John Thune and whatnot, but I would encourage you to do so. Coming up, Fred Fleitz, American First Policy Institute, to talk about all the goodness coming out of the Iran and epic fury. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Rob Carson for Relief Factor. There's a reason why at my age I can still crush it at the gym, carry an armchair by myself, or do any home improvement project without pain during or after, and that's Relief Factor. When it comes to supplements, the two things that matter most, it works and you trust it. Relief Factor was created by a combat-wounded Vietnam veteran. He decided to become a doctor simply to help people, to heal them. If pain is holding you back, find out why so many people, including me, make Relief Factor a part of their daily routine. Try the 3-week quick start today. Go to ReliefFactor.com. That's ReliefFactor.com. Or call 800-4RELIEF. That's 800-4RELIEF for Relief Factor. My entire life, my betting has just been betting. I got the least expensive stuff I could find. Have you noticed your sheets slipping off the corners lately? Maybe your pillows just don't feel supportive anymore. Most people actually keep their bedding way longer than they should. It slowly wears down, and you don't realize how much it's affecting your sleep. That's why I upgraded to Boll and Branch. They make everything your bed needs. Their signature organic cotton sheets, pillows, blankets, and comforters are all designed to be breathable, incredibly soft, and get better over time. Most people start out with their signature sheets. I added the waffle blanket, and now the whole bed just feels amazing. The moment you get Boll and Branch is the moment you discover the difference. Upgrade your sleep with Boll and Branch. Get 15% off your first order plus free shipping at bollandbranch.com. That's BOLL and branch.com/Rob Carson. Promo code Rob Carson. That's Boll and Branch, BOLLAND branch.com/Rob Carson. Code Rob Carson to unlock 15% off. Exclusions apply. Hey guys, it's Carson for Ghost Bed. I am sleeping better than I've ever slept in my entire life. I used to think a mattress was just furniture, but I got a Ghost Bed. Ghost Bed doesn't build mattresses like furniture. They build engineered sleep systems. Their beds are serious health equipment. Beds designed for relief and recovery, not looks. Your body should be healing while you sleep, not fighting for comfort. I noticed immediately. My first night on a Ghost Bed, I slept for 10 hours. If you're waking up stiff, tossing and turning, sleeping hot, even reaching for a pain reliever before bed, hoping tonight will be different, that's not aging. That's your mattress talking. Here's another thing I love about Ghost Bed. You get 101 nights to try it at home. If you don't like the difference, just send it back risk-free. Ghost Bed is currently having their Memorial Day sale plus an extra 10% off for my audience. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson and use promo code Carson. Ghostbed.com/Carson. Promo code Carson for the sleep of a lifetime.
It could be one that leads them to reconstruction, to prosperity, and to stability, and to not posing a threat to the world. The alternative is growing isolation, economic collapse, and ultimately total defeat. I know what the right choice is for Iran. I hope that the people over there making decisions will make the right one.
Nearly 3/4 of Americans say Iran is losing. Even 60% of Democrats agree. When you have the Democrats agreeing with Trump, that's when you know it's over.
There you go. And isn't it amazing how quiet Adam Schiff is this week? And Chris Murphy and all of the Democrats who said this was a disaster since day one. I posted a video on social media and I said shame on them. And I wish it would make a difference, but they don't have any shame. For 60-some days, starting on day one, they've done nothing but demean and discourage and attack the mission, not support our military in harm's way, knowing that Democrats and Republicans serve in the military, or maybe have kids serving in the military, or maybe have spouses serving in the military, but they said nothing good, nothing good, nothing good. And they literally were rooting for Iran to win, to reconstitute, so Donald Trump wouldn't get credit for it. They looked past the possibility of Iranian women by the million finally being able to show their hair without being beaten to death. The Democrat Party, I swear you people. The people in charge of the Democrat Party are on the wrong side of God and on the wrong side of good. It is just remarkable. Just remarkable. Did you see Marco Rubio? He was in charge of the presser yesterday at the press pool. You know why they call it the press pool? Because it's in this little indoor area. It used to be a swimming pool in there. It used to be an indoor swimming pool. And I guess they paved it over or something, filled with concrete, and they parked the press in there. It's not a very big room. I mean, it's like, wow, uncomfortably small and very warm in the summertime. I've been over there. It's pretty interesting. It's not very... It's not impressive. It's not impressive. But anyway, with that said, Marco Rubio took over yesterday, and dang it, I tell you what, man, that guy, I swear. You know, he is just doing such a damn good job as the Secretary of State. He is such a wordsmith. He handled the press so beautifully, and he has this bedside manner that is just so disarming, even if you disagree with him. And here he is yesterday talking about the Iranian leadership. I added a little music, by the way.
The time's come for Iran to make a sensible choice. And it's not easy for them to do that, obviously, because they have a fracture in their own leadership system. And apart from that, I mean, the top people in that government are, to say the least, they're insane in the brain.
Boom! Insane in the brain! That is Marco Rubio. He, by the way, is a big fan of the L.A. sound, mid-'90s into the early aughts hip-hop, which I actually enjoy as well. I do. Even in the 80s, late 80s with all sorts of groups. But anyway, that said, Public Enemy, I like Public Enemy. They're good. Misguided in their politics a little bit, but revolutionary with regard to sampling and whatnot. I won't get into that. Believe it or not, I'm a white guy from Iowa. And I can appreciate some hip-hop, not so much lately. Here's a little montage of Pete Hegseth. Am I told? Wait a minute, Brian, are we told that Fred Fleitz is on the air? Is that what you're clicking me? Let's go to Fred Fleitz, ladies and gentlemen, America's first policy institute. Fred Fleitz, welcome to the show. Long time no talk. How are you?
Hey, good to be here.
Man, what a day, what a day. Marco Rubio yesterday owned that presser, talking about Iran, talking about, how the Iranian leaders are insane in the brain. It looks like we're seeing in the distance here, Donald Trump said this could be over in 3 weeks. What are you hearing? What are you thinking?
Well, I think we saw over the last 24 hours an Iranian regime that really does want a deal and a president who's trying to keep his word to make this a short-term conflict and not a quagmire. And, I mean, there's some outlines of a possible deal we're hearing. I don't know how much of it is accurate. Obviously, Iran would have to stop threatening the Strait of Hormuz. There's rumors that we may give them sanctions relief and release funds that are being held in banks abroad. I guess that's something we may have to do to get things rolling. There's also word that Iran would agree to a moratorium on enrichment, but it may last only 5 to 15 years. I'm not happy about that idea. I don't know that that's true or that President Trump will accept it.
No.
But clearly there are some talks underway.
Well, I am hoping that the regime is so fractured that the Iranian people will rise. We can't leave a seed. We can't leave a seed to grow, Fred Fleitz. We cannot do that. We just cannot simply allow them to get through this, rebuild their dictatorship, and not allow for the freedom of the Iranian people, brother.
Yeah, I mean, another factor here is that I don't know if there's any point in even trying to negotiate, because we don't know who we're talking to.
Yes.
We know the regime is divided. We know this regime lies and doesn't keep its word. It cheated on the nuclear deal it struck with Obama. It will cheat on whatever the Trump administration negotiates with it. I mean, what I recommend to the president is no negotiating. Let's have an ultimatum.
Yes.
You stop threatening the war, stop threatening shipping in the Strait of Hormuz, we'll call off major military operations. But if you try to enrich uranium, if you try to dig out that enriched uranium, or do other belligerent things, the war is back and we will destroy your energy sector.
I was leaning into, and there were several people who were saying that, even Jack Keane was saying that we're probably going to have to do a kinetic strike, go back in and wipe out the energy grid and bridges and whatnot. I'm actually surprised. That Donald Trump, no, I shouldn't say that. He's been very deliberate. He's been more deliberate than I could have ever imagined with the withdrawal of Maduro in Venezuela and the time that we took to before we attacked Iran and all of this stuff. So I think it's pretty remarkable and pretty good of him to not have done that by now. And he's been very kind to the Iranian people, knowing that they're going to have to pick up the pieces, and the only way they're going to be able to do that is to have power and resources.
I think the Iranian people will rise up eventually. The economy has been devastated. These leaders are being held in power by the barrel of a gun. I mean, how are the security forces being paid?
Yes.
I don't think this is a sustainable situation.
I don't either. I was watching the the Strait of Hormuz the last few days. What we've done there is nothing short of remarkable. They're sending out a couple of these little mosquito boats with small arms fire to their death at the end of a gun. They're being sent out there, but otherwise it looks like the Strait of Hormuz is no longer a problem, is no longer a threat from Iran. Do you agree with that?
I do. In fact, that's something that Rubio and Hegseth made clear yesterday.
Yes.
People were panicking the day before that Iran has responded with force against our efforts to secure the strait. They did attack to some extent, but it was very minor, and we had it under control. But I think the president suspended our operation to secure the strait temporarily given the remote possibility Iran will agree to some kind of reasonable diplomatic settlement. Trump always prefers diplomacy, but I also think he's worried that there's nobody reliable to negotiate with.
Well, no, there isn't. There just isn't. Let's just be honest. There is no friggin' way that anybody left from that regime, that murderous regime, anybody associated with murdering 40,000 people for standing up against the government, they cannot be allowed to remain in power. Fred Fleitz, I've got much more I want to get to on the other side of the break. Can you hold?
I can, yes, thank you.
All right, let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
WCBM and 99.9 FM in Harford County.
The operation is over. Epic Fury, as the president notified Congress, we're done with that stage of it. Okay, we're now on to this project of freedom.
As a direct gift from the United States to the world, we have established a powerful red, white, and blue dome over the strait. American destroyers are on station, supported by hundreds of fighter jets, helicopters, drones, and surveillance aircraft, providing 24/7 overwatch for peaceful commercial vessels. Except Iran's, of course.
CENTCOM has established an enhanced security area on the southern side of the strait that is now protected by U.S. land, naval, and air assets to help defeat further Iranian aggression against commercial shipping. More than 100 fighters, attack aircraft, and other manned and unmanned aircraft synchronized by the 82nd Airborne Division are in the air 24 hours a day, providing defensive overwatch for the enhanced security area.
I got to tell you, I've never seen such a military campaign flawlessly. I mean, I won't say completely flawlessly, but nearly flawlessly executed as we did with Operation Epic Fury, Operation Economic Fury. With us on the phone is America First Policy Institute's Fred Fleitz. What a masterful campaign. From start to finish, starting with the air campaign, then the sea campaign, then the blockade, and I mean, remarkable, right?
Well, let's take the opportunity to shamelessly praise our friend and boss, Chris Ruddy,
yes.
Newsmax CEO and president. He has a fantastic column on Newsmax.com on the 9 ways this is a conclusive win for the United States. We've destroyed the military. We've destroyed the Navy. We've weakened Russian and Chinese influence. We've made ourselves more prepared for future conflicts, and we've prepared what he describes as a new Arab-Israeli alliance against Iran. It's a fabulous piece. I might add, I'm writing another article that quotes this piece that will appear in American Greatness on Friday. But this is a huge win, and we had to tell the American people this because the mainstream media is lying every day to discredit what President Trump achieved here.
Yeah, and did you notice? Now, last night I did a social media video to shame the Democrat Party, although they have no shame, Fred, so I don't even know why the hell I even bother. But day one, Chris Murphy, day one when we vaporized the Ayatollah, he said it was a disaster. They have been caterwauling. They have been screeching. They have done nothing to support our troops. I've never seen anything like this in my bloody life. Last night, unveiled Harvard, I believe, Marist poll, 76% of Americans believe we've beaten Iran's butt. And where is Adam Schiff today? Where is Chris Murphy today? Where are these people today? They want to get on the right side of history, but as far as I'm concerned, we're going to the victory parade, and they can stay the hell at home.
I think that's right. And look, Trump had a difficult message for the American people. There's going to be some short-term financial pain. You are going to pay more at the gas pump for a short time. But the payoff here is that Iran won't have a nuclear weapon, which is a grave threat to global security. And it's a threat to us because Iran is making ICBMs that one day will be able to hit our country.
Yeah, and look at the other pieces of the puzzle, the 3D chess game that's been playing. You know, we have brought China to its knees to some degree. They're no longer screwing around with Taiwan. You've got Cuba on the verge of collapse, and it looks like Rubio's working strategically to completely change that island that's been a thorn in our side for 70 years. It's pretty remarkable.
No, I think that's exactly right. There are historic changes taking place here that will be around for a long time.
Where's Hamas? Where's Hamas and Hezbollah too? Look at that! Look at that, buddy! Look at that! Are we hearing any major attacks around the world? We have pulled the teeth out of the tiger.
We're seeing negotiations between the Lebanese government and the Israeli government, something that hasn't taken place for decades. And we're actually stiffening the spine of the Lebanese government to crack down on Hezbollah, which has been substantially weakened by Israel and made the mistake of attacking Israel again during this war.
It's These are remarkable times. I predicted, Fred, that freedom and faith were going to spread around the world. And I believe that we are the reaction to the action of evil that had taken over the world. I believe that faith and science can exist on the same spectrum. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. We're the reaction of good, and I think it's happening. I think we've got the devil on his heels, and we just need to give him a shove.
I think that's exactly right. We have to stand with the president, and the president and his people have to make the best possible case for this. Hegseth and Rubio really did do this yesterday. We need to have more press conferences with Rubio. He was fabulous.
Oh my God. Wasn't he just amazing? Can this guy not, next he's going to do make a cinnamon rolls or something. I mean, he can do everything.
I mean, obviously he has a lot of experience as a speaker and a politician, but the deep substantive knowledge he has of foreign affairs, the ability to explain the complicated and to basically disregard all the misstatements and distortions of this policy. It was just beautiful.
His bedside manner. That's it. That's the key. Deep knowledge of these things, and this bedside manner that is so disarming, so educational. You don't want to fight with this guy. You want to listen with this guy. I think it was marvelous to see. I don't want to see Caroline Leavitt replaced anytime soon. She's spectacular, but I do want to.
I'm not going to speak ill of her, and I'm so impressed with her.
She's great.
I think she's only 27 years old. She's going to be Secretary of State someday. I'm so impressed by her.
Yeah, I think, but keep her where she is. Watch her grow. She's on maternity leave right now, and turn up the volume on Rubio, baby. That's all I got to say. Fred, I appreciate you joining me. Thanks for the heads up on Chris Reddy's piece. I'm going to check that out.
Will do. Good to be here.
All right, God bless. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. I got to look at that piece. Hi, guys. How are you? A lot of good stuff happening in the world. Excuse me, I burped. Pardon me. I've got to do a couple other things here. Rubio. All right. Scott Davies, how are you? Marge Dell, how are you? Joseph Hicks, what's going on? Nice to have you. Mercury Mars, who only speaks in emojis. I might want to try something new there. Maybe use words of English. That would be good. J.D. Rubio for president. Yeah, dude, you are right there, Dookie Bear. Holy hell. By the way, I met Rubio years ago when he was campaigning in 2015 for the 2016 election, and I was impressed. I didn't think he was ready to be the president. I saw him and I saw Ted Cruz, and they were gathering large crowds. And then was blindsided by Donald Trump and went, holy hell, now I get it. So, but Rubio is one of the things, I think I've told you this, the thing I liked about Rubio, I'm standing here on stage, or I was right behind him on stage, right behind him. And I looked at him and I saw that he had crappy shoes, cheap shoes, and a mediocre to poor suit. In fact, it was probably just khakis and a jacket. And I realized that he is a man of the people. He's not wearing a slick suit like Gavin Newsom. And I went, this guy is in it for us and the country. And that's what I liked about Rubio when I saw him. And the sky's the limit as far as Rubio is concerned. I mean, my God. So, just blown away by him. All right, I got a couple of other things I want to do here. Oh, God, I haven't even played any comedy today. Sorry. Again. All right. This is not an EV. And it never will be. There we go. You needed the volume to hear the EV. Thanks to Fred Fleitz. He was awesome. By the way, I'm kind of thinking about, I'm selling the house in Kansas City. We sold it, and we just need to close. And I'm walking away with a little bit of, something for a down payment on a possible little, I don't know, maybe a little place to park an Airstream. And, that'd be kind of cool to live in a hood where you could have a golf cart and tool around. And it's not about being, of a certain age. There are a lot of younger people who have neighborhoods like that. It's pretty cool. So that would be my Evie if I had any. We haven't heard any Jim gossip today. By gosh, what the heck is wrong with me? Man, what the heck is wrong with me? Did you know that the Iranian currency has declined majorly? It's called a dinar. No dinar for you. It looks like the 1.81 million rial. It's a rial, not a dinar. A dinar is in another country. It's a rial. Things about to get rial for the Iranian people. 1.81 million rials for every American dollar. And Jim Gossett did this about the rial and the decline of the Iranian currency, thanks to Donald Trump.
Suddenly our currency's worth pennies on millions, lowest value on this earth. Iran's losing billions.
Can you break a 20?
That economic fury has made us broke.
I need a truck to carry the reals.
Our response to naval blockades,
forget it,
has been a joke.
How do I put 1 million reals in
Our reals not worth a penny.
In a soda machine.
Value is far less.
I just want a Diet Coke. I don't have this kind of money.
It is time to blame the mullahs for this big mess.
1.5 what the hell?
The USA's dismantled our economy, and they have made worthless our currency.
Can you imagine if you're standing at a Coke machine in Tehran, and you got 1.81 million reals in a dollar, and the soda costs $2.50. So you're going to need about 5 million reals. Can you imagine feeding 5 million reals for that Diet Coke in there, and then it spits one out because you got to make it so God darn it, it's folded. Okay, all right, 4,999,000 reals to go for my Diet Coke. Yeah, that's the end of the currency. That's the end of the regime, and I will go ahead and say freedom for the Iranian people. Free Iran, free Iran. Nothing can be left of what was the mullahs and all that. And the Middle East, we will see a millennial peace that we could only have dreamed about in our lifetimes and the lifetimes of hundreds of generations. Let's take a break and come back. Last hour of the Rob Carson Show is right ahead. Don't go anywhere.
Hold it now.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is hour number 3 of the Rob Carson Show. My gosh, what a show it's been. What a show! I know you can't spend the entire show sometimes with me, although you should. My God, what? I mean, come on, it's only 3 hours of your day. It's only 3 hours of your waking day. Is that so much to ask? But it's been a heck of a show. Oh, my gosh. We had Luke Rosiak on talking about this massive Medicare corruption in the state of Ohio, that he's all over the story for the Daily Wire, dailywire.com. And then we had Tony Kennett from the Daily Signal, fantastic, talking about the bloodbath in Indiana with the rhinos being blown out of the state Senate there. It was really, I mean, he was really good. You got to watch his show tonight, the Daily Signal, on YouTube as he broadcasts live. That's going to be a lively one. Fred Fleitz from America First Institute last hour to talk about how we're kicking butt in Iran. Really, really good. This hour, Mark Meckler, president of Convention of States. And I'm not saying that the show is necessarily guest-driven, but damn, we got some good ones. If you want to check out the podcast, this is the reason why we're the number, we were all the way up to number 10 in the political commentary podcasts in America. I know, of all of them, and we're beating the big names. We're beating Levin. Shh, don't tell anybody. We're beating Matt Walsh. Shh, don't tell anybody. Yeah, I know. Yeah, you know why? Because you're here with me. That's why. You're here with me. I posted a video today to show you some of the sights of Washington, D.C. You know, it's not the greatest. It's just my phone. And I was driving out by Arlington, and I was driving by the Lincoln Memorial. The reflecting pool, you can see the reflecting pool. They've got it. They're getting real close to getting it done. It's going to be the most beautiful it's ever been. It was just a cesspool of goose crap and slime, just like the Biden administration. Perfect metaphor, and it's perfect now. And what else? There was just driving by the Washington Monument, and the people. You could hear the people laughing. The joy. Not these idiots marching around throwing a temper tantrum. It's marvelous. It's on all my social media at Rob Carson Show, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Rumble, not Rumble, Truth Social, which, by the way, my following on Truth Social is gigantic, 2.5 million people. Get Her, all of them. Rob Carson or Rob Carson Show. See that video. I wanted to do it from my perspective, from my phone, show you that I'm here, and you're here. And that's why the show is just, I could never even imagine. Number 42 in the country for news. Number 250 podcast in the entire country. Millions of podcasts. 250. Wow. It's about creating a product that is uniquely entertaining and one that connects with you. And I want to mention this again because this is something else, and I am going to do my level best to see if we can broadcast from here. I don't know if it's possible. Rededicate 250, May 17th on the National Mall, a national jubilee of prayer, praise, and thanksgiving. The celebration of God's providence will take place on the National Mall May 17th. Will feature scripture, testimony, prayer, rededication of our country as one nation to God. And it's not just about religious revival. This is about turning the country from evil back to good and righting this ship. I can't wait. It is something else, guys. And you know what? And all we need to do is say no to the forces of darkness. All we need to do is say we're not going to live in darkness anymore. We're not going to have you tell us that our children can become transgender. We're not going to allow you to put pornography in our schools. We're not going to allow you to do this nonsense, this insanity, this leftist garbage, to burn our cities, to march around and say that Donald Trump's a king and Elon Musk is a Nazi. Shut up. We're done. You know, it's like an exorcism. It's almost like an exorcism. Throw holy water on these leftists. Back into hell with you. We don't have time with it. There's too much good to live out there. Life is too short to live in misery. This morning I was at the grocery store. There's a young guy there. He's a young black man. He's like probably 25 years old. He's a security guard. Works there part-time. His name is Dennis. And a few months back, he noticed that I like to say, have a glorious day to people. And he thought that was kind of interesting. I didn't choose it. I just started saying it. Because a lot of people say, they'll say, have a blessed day. And but I don't know, for some reason I started saying, have a glorious day, because when you change your life like I have, I look every day as a gift, and glory only comes from above. And he says to me, man, you say have a glorious day, and we've been talking ever since today. I gave him I gave him a Don't Catch a Stupid shirt, and he said, can I get some bumper stickers? I gave him a bumper sticker. Can I get some more for my friends? I said, hell yeah. He goes, I've got a friend, he's also a security guard here, and he wants to pick your brain, man. He wants some ideas. And he said to me today, he goes, you have inspired me. I'm a 60-year-old white man. Just go to the grocery store. And here's this young man working there part-time doing security. There's another young man, he's an African-American as well, he's a black man, and he drives a limo on the side. And they're buzzing about Rob Carson being an inspiration. And I realize that's what this show is about. It's about entertaining, informing, and motivating you to do good. I just don't have time for the darkness anymore. I don't have time for it, and you shouldn't either. You shouldn't either. When they wave a sign in your face and say that Donald Trump is a Nazi, you say, screw you. I will not bed down with your darkness anymore. Our lives are too short on this earth to bed down with darkness when we live in such a glorious country. That's it. Beck Ottenberry on Rumble says, Rob, you're going to make me cry. You know, whatever. I don't care. Yeah, you know what? Maybe make you cry for joy. How about that? I'm tired of living in darkness. I'm tired of people screeching at me. I'm tired of my president. They're trying to kill our president. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. I'm not going to take it anymore. I'm not going to take it anymore. But I'm not doing it out of angry. I'm out of anger. I'm doing this out of, I'm just not going to live in darkness anymore, and you shouldn't have to either. We can come together. You can be a Democrat. You can be a Jew. You can be a whatever. You can be a Catholic. You can be a Protestant. You can be a Lutheran. You can be whatever. We don't have to live in darkness because we have so much light in our lives if we just choose to go to it. That's it. All right. Can I get an amen? I think I just got a whole bunch of amens. Last night there was another gubernatorial debate in the state of California. I think Steve Hilton's going to win this. And you want to talk about beating back the darkness. 16 years of one-party darkness in the state of California. Hey, they turned Eden into hell. They turned Eden, yeah, I used it on purpose, into hell on earth. Here is Steve Hilton.
No. So, Caitlin and Alex, it's interesting. We've already seen a couple of things that we'll probably see a lot of in this debate, which is the Democrats who are here who've been responsible for 16 years of one-party rule for everything that we see in California, won't take responsibility, and all they can talk about is Trump. Look, I was asked how I'm preparing for this debate the other day, and my answer was the meetings, the thousands of people that have come to our events the last year in California. I've traveled to every part of the state.
People in California don't need to live in darkness anymore. They don't. They're casting it off.
I've seen the struggle and the stories, and that is my struggle and my stories. My parents were immigrants. The California dream is my dream, and I want that for every single one of you watching out there.
Yeah, here is Robert Garcia, representative from the state of California, and then I want you to hear Steve Hilton's rebuttal. This is Robert Garcia blaming California's economic problems on Donald Trump.
What do you say to critics who look at California and they say it encapsulates the cost of living problems that they argue that Democrats created the cost of living problems.
They did.
In California.
They
whether
did.
It's housing, whether it's gas, with regulation and other things. Because it is one of the most expensive places to live in the country. And Democrats have been in charge.
Yeah.
Look, Democrats in California, we produce more federal support.
More federal support, tax dollars that goes to Medicaid fraud.
Any other state, and then some across the country. When you think about programs
Answer the question about how badly you made it suck.
People are benefiting across the Midwest, across the South. Much of those
Thank you, California.
resources are coming from California innovation.
Yeah, you know what? Guess what? You ain't going to get a hamburger unless it's raised in Iowa or Nebraska or Kansas. Thank you very much. How about shut up? Listen to Steve Hilton. Listen to Steve Hilton's response to those who would say that California's economic woes, the crap sandwich without the bread that California is Donald Trump's fault.
Mr. Hilton, go ahead.
It's not Donald Trump who's given us gas prices $2 higher than the rest of the country. It's Democrat policies, which Antonia and all the Democrats here support. It's not Donald Trump that's given us the highest housing costs in the country. It's Democrat policies that all these Democrats support. Donald Trump is the president in all the other states of America where the cost of living is way lower.
Holy hell! He's the president of the United States in Texas, too. Oh my God, he's the president of the United States in Florida too.
Lower than in California. Obviously, it is way past time for change in California, and endlessly going on about Donald Trump doesn't serve the needs of the struggling families and small businesses.
Can you say whether or not?
Yeah, there you go. Chad Bianco is running in second place. He's a Republican as well. I like Chad. I like Chad. Don't get me wrong. I think Hilton's going to be the guy. I hope Chad is made, I don't even know what he would be. He's a cop, I don't think he'd be AG. I'm not sure if he's a lawyer, but I think Hilton's going to be the dude. Here's Chad Bianco. I just love this guy too.
I just want to actually answer your question. Was why do Democrats deserve it? You just listened to probably 10, 15 minutes of why they don't.
Yeah.
We are going to get nothing but the same from them. They brought us here. Yeah. Every single one of these career politicians brought us to the point where we are here today.
Yep.
They do not deserve another chance. They have broken us with endless regulations that have destroyed California, destroyed our businesses, destroyed the cost of gas.
Did.
We need a unbelievable change to get back. And unfortunately for all of them, I'm the only one on this stage that has spent a career making California lives better.
We're going to talk about the economy.
By the way, on the other side of the break, Katie Porter, the Mrs. Potato Head, she tried to shame everybody. and then the Spencer Pratt guy who's running for mayor of L.A., he's bringing all sorts of money, campaign dollars in there. They're freaking that he's going to be the mayor of L.A., and he should be, by gosh. That is coming up. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hey guys, it's Carson. You know my signature phrase, don't catch the stupid. When it comes to Medicare, that's easier said than done. Medicare is overly complex, with thousands of plans, hidden gotchas in the fine print, and rules nobody really explains to you. Many people just pick something and hope for the best. That's why you need to know about Chapter. They're the only advisor that looks at every plan in the country, matches your doctors, your prescriptions, and your situation to a plan that fits your needs. When your call with Chapter is done, you know your doctors are covered. Your prescriptions are matched, and you go from, I hope I did this right, to, I know I did. That, my friends, is peace of mind. A call with Chapter is free for my audience, and there's no pressure to sign up. Call Chapter today. Here's the number, 27 Medicare. That's 27 MEDICARE. 27 Medicare for Chapter. No pressure. What's your excuse? Call 27 Medicare and don't catch the stupid yourself. Call 27 Medicare today.
Deported. 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 Ready? Are you ready? Get them out of here! Get them out of here! Get the hell out of here! Deported. Deported.
Okay.
Donald Trump's election. It's the gift that keeps on giving. It's the Rob Carson Show.
It is the Rob Carson Show, hour number 3 of the show. Mark Meckler, Convention of States, joins us at the bottom of the hour. Yes. Katie Porter, Mrs. Potato Head. She's never going to be the governor of the state of California. She's an unlikable person. She's a despicable and unlikable person. There's nothing to like about her at all. I feel sorry for her children. I really do, because she's got to be the ultimate Karen mom. But anyway, and by the way, she's deflating quite a bit. I guess she's on Ozempic. But anyway, she's kind of looking like one of those Thanksgiving Day balloons when they get tied up on a light post. It just kind of goes. and here she is trying to shame the other candidates. I mean, there's nothing to like about this woman. But here she is trying to shame the other candidates.
I can't believe that on a stage with 30 minutes of interrupting and bickering and name-calling and shouting.
You mean like the people who are stepping in your shot when you did that video on social media a while back and you screamed profanities at the people in your shot because you treat everybody around you like absolute crap?
Shouting and disrespect for everyone up here who's stepping into public service, that anyone wants to talk about my temperament.
You were actually interrupting them too. I don't know why you want to act like you weren't.
Cowboy
Steve and I sat here smiling at each other because we're just watching you all prove to everyone why they can't vote for a Democrat.
100%. And I mean, my God, really. I mean, how low can you go, the state of California, and still think you want to vote Democrat unless you are complete and utter ignoramus? You are out of your nut, to be quite honest. She had a line yesterday. She stole my thing because, I've been talking for years about how Joe Biden and the Democrat Party have a thing called the crap touch. It's the reverse Midas touch. I came up with this years ago. And so I came up with crap touch. Here's a crap touch with regard to Democrats. Everything that's gold, they turn into crap. Crap touch. And so the other day, she decided to cop this idea and say, oh, yeah, everything that Donald Trump touches turns to crap, even though it's bullcrap because he sealed the border, he's bringing manufacturing back in the country, he's destroyed the Iranian regime after 47 years of terror. I can go on and on and on and on and on. And I said, you know what, if that's the case, if everything that Donald Trump touches turns to crap, then he must have stuck his finger in your ear and touched your brain. There you go. Because you have bleep for brains. You will never be the governor because she's such an awful, unlikable, wretched human being. That's it. And Gavin Newsom's never going to be the president. And neither is J.B. Pretzelhead, fat face. I have no, Pritzker. Yeah, there you go, that guy. Sorry, I get a little mixed up. Mayor Karen Bass up against three well-financed challengers for the June 2nd primary for the mayorship of of L.A. She's driven into the pits of hell. They've got this other woman who's just a worthless piece of crap running. And then, of course, the Spencer Pratt guy used to be a reality TV guy 20 years ago, and he is just blowing them away. Just blowing, raising a lot more money. It's $540,000. I think she's got $495,000 and all of that. We've been knocked off again. Brian,
the Democrats still are, because they lost Janet Mills,
hold on
as President Trump knew was going to happen.
All right. We have apparently been cut off real quick here. I don't know exactly what the problem is. Could be sunspot activity. Not exactly sure, but we are waiting to reconnect with WCBM radio in Baltimore. It is on their end. It is on WCBM's. It is on WCBM's end.
Yeah.
There we go. Are we back? Did we come back? I'm going to disconnect one more time. We apparently are off the air, but I believe we are on social media right now. We are back. Great. Well, there's something wrong with the connection at the radio station where we anchor our radio program. But I'm back. Hello. I know you missed me. I know you're like, what happened to Rob? Was it Katie Porter? Did she pour hot potato water on Rob's head? Oh my God. No, I'm fine. Back to Spencer Pratt. Spencer Pratt, he has a new video about Gavin Newsom and his wife, who is a complete Barbie airhead from hell, Jennifer, and how maybe they got their $8 million mansion, even though they're in public service.
Well, all last summer I warned you, Gavin Newsom and his wife were on the take. We blew the whistle on how the first partner, Jennifer Newsom, was getting fire aid money diverted into her dubious nonprofit, taking from donations that people were told was meant for fire victims.
That's crazy.
When we broke that story, what did they do? Well, they just deleted her NPO from the list of
this is how they got $8 million to buy a mansion.
Donor recipients on the Fire Aid website and lied about it ever happening. Well, now we are finding out that Gavin's wife has personally netted over $4 million through this nebulous organization, Cal Volunteers.
Yeah, a $100 million fundraiser. After the fires, none of the money got to the fire. People had their house burned down. Not one damn dime. It went to NGOs, and it was stolen. Every dang dime of it was stolen.
A weird NPO that Gavin simply made up for her within the office of the first partner, but nobody can fully explain what they actually do. Well, now, it's a pretty California thing for rich dudes to make up fake businesses that burn money so their wives can stay busy and keep distracted from their affairs. But normally, it's like a boutique fashion store that the husband doesn't mind losing $20K a month. It's a write-off. But using taxpayer money on shady government initiatives and actually profiting to the tune of $4 million.
Yeah. There's no coming back for Gavin Newsom, I think at this point. There's no coming back for Mrs. Potato Head, Katie Porter. There's no coming back for the Democrat Party in the state of California. I think they are on a death spiral. There's no recovery for them. And the only thing that they think they can do in L.A. is to let illegals vote in local elections. That's how they're thinking they're going to save Karen Bass's big fat Bass. But I don't think it's going to happen, and it shouldn't, because she's a commie and she's an absolute failure. Coming up, Mark Meckler, Convention of States. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Rob Carson for Relief Factor. There's a reason why at my age I can still crush it at the gym, carry an armchair by myself, or do any home improvement project without pain during or after, and that's Relief Factor. When it comes to supplements, the two things that matter most, it works and you trust it. Relief Factor was created by a combat wounded Vietnam veteran. He decided to become a doctor simply to help people, to heal them. If pain is holding you back, find out why so many people, including me, make Relief Factor a part of their daily routine. Try the 3-week quick start today. Go to relieffactor.com. That's relieffactor.com, or call 800-4RELIEF. That's 800-4RELIEF for Relief Factor. My entire life, my betting has just been betting. I got the least expensive stuff I could find. Have you noticed your sheets slipping off the corners lately? Maybe your pillows just don't feel supportive anymore. Most people actually keep their bedding way longer than they should. It slowly wears down, and you don't realize how much it's affecting your sleep. That's why I upgraded to Boll & Branch. They make everything your bed needs. Their signature organic cotton sheets, pillows, blankets, and comforters are all designed to be breathable, incredibly soft, and get better over time. Most people start out with their signature sheets. I added the waffle blanket, and now the whole bed just feels amazing. The moment you get Boll & Branch is the moment you discover the difference. Upgrade your sleep with Boll & Branch. Get 15% off your first order plus free shipping at bollandbranch.com. That's BOLL and branch.com/Rob Carson. Promo code Rob Carson. That's Boll & Branch, BOLLAND branch.com/Rob Carson. Code Rob Carson to unlock 15% off. Exclusions apply. Hey guys, it's Carson for Ghost Bed. I am sleeping better than I've ever slept in my entire life. I used to think a mattress was just furniture, but I got a Ghost Bed. Ghost Bed doesn't build mattresses like furniture. They build engineered sleep systems. Their beds are serious health equipment. Beds designed for relief and recovery, not looks. Your body should be healing while you sleep, not fighting for comfort. I noticed immediately. My first night on a Ghost Bed, I slept for 10 hours. If you're waking up stiff, tossing and turning, sleeping hot, even reaching for a pain reliever before bed, hoping tonight will be different, that's not aging. That's your mattress talking. Here's another thing I love about Ghost Bed. You get 101 nights to try it at home. If you don't like the difference, just send it back risk-free. Ghost Bed is currently having their Memorial Day sale plus an extra 10% off for my audience. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson and use promo code Carson. Ghostbed.com/Carson. Promo code Carson for the sleep of a lifetime.
Can you kind of clarify these reports of kamikaze dolphins that we've heard about?
I haven't heard the kamikaze dolphin thing. It's like sharks with laser beams, right?
And I can't confirm or deny whether we have kamikaze dolphins.
There you go.
But I can confirm they don't.
There you go. So that's Pete Hegseth being asked about kamikaze dolphins. Boy, okay. A member of the press looked at the head of CENTCOM, asked about if Iran had kamikaze dolphins. And then Hegseth had to say, well, I confirm they don't, but I can't say that we don't. Mark Meckler, Convention Estates. I thought I'd throw that one at you to start off the interview. How are you?
Oh, my gosh. That's so good. I absolutely admire, respect, and actually personally love the Secretary of War. He's a longtime friend of mine. I was actually, Rob, just coincidentally, I was with him 2 weeks ago in the Pentagon. What an incredible experience to actually be there with Pete.
Brother, he is doing such a fine job, and I never would have expected It's remarkable. These guys who came from Fox, you got Sean Duffy, a frickin' butt-kicking Secretary of Transportation, and Pete Hegseth becomes the most kick-ass Secretary of War in our lifetimes. It's pretty remarkable to watch.
I actually think there's a reason for this. And, like, for example, with Pete, because he's a warrior.
Yeah.
And I know the full story behind why President Trump chose him, because he wrote a book called The War on Warriors.
Yeah.
And in that book, which President Trump actually read, he doesn't just complain, and it wasn't just pablum for the masses. He wasn't just trying to sell books. He says, this is what's been done to our warrior class, and this is how you fix it. So Trump had read that book. He's like, well, if we want the then DOD, now DOW fixed, well, then I got a guy that knows how to fix it. So let's bring him in and have him fix it. And the thing is, I've known Pete literally now probably 13 years personally.
Wow.
And he loves the men and women in uniform.
Yes.
I mean, he is willing to give blood for them. And so to have a guy like that who is non-political, and that's another thing to remember. He came in from the outside. He didn't have to kiss anybody's rear end to get there. He didn't have to work his way up through the ranks and be a political corporal and a political major and a political general, because that's what happens when you get to that level. I'm sorry, not corporal, but colonel. When you get to that level, it starts to become political. These guys have to have political constituencies. They have to play the same political games as anybody else as they get promoted. That's not Pete. He comes in from the outside. He loves the Warriors. The Warriors are getting screwed, and he intends to fix it. And he is just true blue, absolutely incredible. Look, he took time out in the middle of a war. I had 6 interns with me, and he took time to see my interns, see me. I mean, that's the kind of man that Pete is.
I don't think there's been a better time to be enlisted. I mean, in my lifetime, I think. I mean, really. I mean, you looked at George W. Bush after the September the 11th, and there was a good deal of love and appreciation for the military. I get that, but then of course that dragged on to 20 years in Afghanistan, and just a living hell for so many of our warriors with no real direction. Certainly in with regard to Vietnam, there was over 20 years of fecklessness and no appreciation. Coming home being spat upon. I can go on and on. There's no recognition as much as there should be with those who went to the Korean War. We got a small memorial there, but I don't think that I've seen someone who has more love and appreciation for our enlisted members of service, and I mean a real appreciation for the sacrifice that you sign up for, and I think it's amazing.
Well, and of course it flows down from the commander-in-chief. And then he's choosing the right people, and when people aren't serving the men and women in uniform, he's removing them. Like he's not shy about removing them and replacing them with real warriors. I think one of the things that people don't understand about our military is how badly hollowed out the leadership class had become. Yes. And this really started under President Obama, and it continued under Biden, under President Otto Penn, which is get rid of anybody who was an actual warrior, get rid of anybody who actually cared about the troops and knew what it meant to fight, put in purely political appointees,
yes,
and frankly, people whose main mission was DEI.
Yes.
And so he had gutted the military of leadership, and Trump and Secretary Hegseth are reversing all of that.
Yeah, then of course Lloyd Austin was a worthless DOD secretary. You had men in dresses who were supposedly supposed to be leaders. I mean, honestly, I don't think we've said enough about it. It used to be a thing called Section 8 that you'd get booted out of the military for insanity. Made famous by Jamie Farr in MASH because he wanted to get out of the military.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Right, remember him in MASH, and he was
course
constantly trying to get kicked out for dressing like a woman.
Yes. Yeah, well, Corporal Klinger was famous. I mean, absolutely famous for that, wanted to get out of the military, and he was going to prove to everybody by dressing up like a woman, because any man who thinks that he can become female is obviously got to be nuts. I mean, with nuts, literally. It is remarkable how much.
You had to go there, didn't you?
I know I did. Your phone sounds terrible. What's going on with your phone? Is it? Where is it?
I don't know. My normal.
Okay, it's weird.
Let me
You
try
gotta,
and change it and see what happens.
I don't know what the deal. I thought maybe you were talking to one of those old-timey World War II walkie-talkies or something. It just sounded kind of weird.
How's that? Is that better?
Oh, brother, that's so much better. Let me ask you this, and we're not going to just talk about this. There's a lot of stuff to talk about today, by the way. Mark Meckler, Convention of States, by the way. Some great stuff happening in the state of Indiana. Some great stuff happening in the state of Ohio. We'll get to that very shortly. But Hegseth, they're going to do a full audit of the Pentagon. What do you expect from that? There's got to be some polyps in this colonoscopy.
I mean, look, I've known this for many years, and as much as I love and support the military, it is the cesspool of waste, fraud, and abuse.
Yes.
I mean, it's absolutely there. The contractors do it. Everybody does it. You know that you can take advantage of them, so people do. And that's not, by the way, just the biggies. I think the biggies are guilty of it. McDonnell Douglas, Raytheon, Boeing, all the biggies that we know
BlackRock.
of. But it's also small contractors. You've got all this minority-based contracting that was put in. That's just DEI contracting.
Yes.
Tons of waste, fraud, and abuse there. They are going to find, I would predict, literally tens, if not hundreds of billions of dollars of that stuff.
Oh, brother, you know it's going to be hundreds of billions of dollars. If we've got trillions of dollars literally going for Medicaid fraud around the country in different states, half $1 trillion in California alone. So you know the Pentagon. And you know, the Pentagon has always been sacrosanct. To people like me, a layman who has never been in the military, I was always like, don't touch the military. We need our defense, right? Isn't that the way it's always been? So they could get away with, $50,000 toilet seats, bringing back a story from 30 years ago.
Well, and I think that's absolutely true, and I'm kind of the same way, and I am for more military spending. But what this actually means is if we fix these huge cesspools of waste, we'll have more money to spend on the troops, more money to spend on their health care, more money to spend on their housing.
Yes.
Got a son in the Marine Corps. The barracks around the world literally are just disgusting and
100%.
horrible, and nobody should live like that. And we've got our troops living like that, and just weaponry. I'm happy to spend more money on real weaponry instead of fraud. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to find a whole bunch of money that we can spend on real things, upgrade our military, upgrade the way we treat the men and women in uniform. It's a great thing we're doing.
And celebrate them in so many ways. Let's take a break and come back. More with Mark Meckler, Convention of States on the Rob Carson Show. Don't go anywhere.
99.9 FM in Harford County.
More coming up with Mark Meckler, Convention of States, conventionofstates.com. By the way, just signed Kansas as the 20th state for a Convention of States. We'll talk to him in a second. When supply constraints on commodities, prices surge. You know, there are some things you can't get when there are, the Strait of Hormuz was briefly blockaded by threats from Iran, not really by Iran. And so, of course, the price of gold went up. Gold, when they mined it out of the ground, once it's gone, it's gone. Governments can't print more gold. That's why so many people are investigated. That's why I invested money in gold. And listen, I've talked to like Dave Ramsey before. He's like, Rob, gold is the Snuggie of investments. And I like Dave Ramsey, don't get me wrong. And I said, this year after I watched gold, since 2 years ago from $2,600 to $5,600 an ounce, I said, maybe it's more than just a Snuggie. So I invested in it. Now through May 29th, Birch Gold giving you the first-time gold buyers a rebate up to $10,000 on qualifying purchases. Wouldn't that be nice? For details and free information on diversifying into gold, text ROB to the number 989898. Birch Gold can help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA and physical gold. How about that? Text GOLD to the number 989898 to see if you qualify for a first-time gold buyer rebate up to $10,000. Again, text Rob to 989898 today.
Nearly 3/4 of Americans say Iran is losing. Even 60% of Democrats agree. When you have the Democrats agreeing with Trump, that's when you know it's over.
Now, Mark Meckler, isn't it funny we're not hearing anything from Chris Murphy, and we're not hearing anything from Chuck Schumer, and we're not hearing anything from all of the people last week who said, we need the War Powers Act, we need to shut down this operation right now. They really were cheering for our defeat, weren't they?
Oh, of course they were. And this is one of the things to me that's become so sad and unbelievable about the Democrat Party and why they truly are, at this point, enemies of the American people, because they're enemies of the country. And it is not good for America to lose under any circumstances. Once the president decides to go into a conflict, whether you agree with the conflict or not, you should want us to prevail. You should want our troops to prevail. You should want our country to prevail. And they cheer for our defeat. And if you read the New York Times says we've lost the war. Iran is winning the war. All this stuff. And all the Democrats parrot those talking points. And so, I don't say this lightly, and I'm actually, it's really important, Rob, I'm not saying this to be inflammatory.
Yes.
The way that the current crop of Democrats operate, they are enemies of the United States of America.
Well, I've been saying this for at least a year. They are Confederate. They're not the Confederacy, but they are behaving in a Confederate fashion against the foundational principles of the United States of America. This is why they're supporting groups that want to overthrow the government. That's what these No Kings protests, these Marxist bought and paid for communist Chinese protests around the country are all about. This is about a soft revolution, but we're better armed intellectually and physically. So I know we're going to win. This is from a Clinton pollster, Mark Penn, about the Democrat Party. I think it portends well.
Real question is, has the Democratic Party moved too far to the left to be acceptable? Our candidates like Plattner, and obviously Mandami and AOC get so much publicity, and obviously...
I think that they are in a death spiral, Mark. I really do.
Look, I think they are too. I don't want to be overconfident about the midterms.
No. I know.
There's structural things in the midterms that favor the Democrats.
I know.
As you know, when you have a president who's in the 40s and his approval rating, generally the party in power loses a bunch of seats in Congress. There are exceptions to that, but that is the general rule. The flip side of it is, for Republicans right now, the Democrats are literally just appalling.
Oh, yes.
And the American people are not in favor of all this insane gender ideology. They're not in favor of all the alphabet soup people stuff. They're not in favor of the America hatred. They're not in favor of radical Islam. All of these things. They're not in favor of communism. And that's what the Democrat Party stands for now. And so what it means is, and this is actually a twofold operation, Republicans have to put up good candidates and run good campaigns. That's always the case. And, Rob, honestly, for the first time in a long time, I'm pretty happy with most of the candidates that are winning these races.
Yeah.
So I think Republicans are on track there. And then the other thing that we have to do, not as a movement, but the candidates, they have to paint the reality of what the Democrat Party is.
Yes.
And the flip side then this is where Republicans have a hard time. What are Republicans going to do? It's not enough to just demonize the Democrats. Everybody knows the Democrats are bad. What's their plan? And I'll be frank with you, in this area, I think the Republicans are terrible.
Yeah.
They don't express a plan. They don't tell us what they're doing about health care. They're not telling people what they're going to do about gas prices or food prices. And so it's just not good to go in and just say, we hate the other guy, so don't vote for him.
Yeah, I understand that. I think that the accomplishments are going to speak for themselves. I really do, Mark. I do believe this. I believe the Trump, what we need to do is we need to be able to express the good news in a vacuum of reporting of good news by the liberal media. And I think we need to overwhelm them, and I do mean this from the bottom of my heart, with joy and with patriotism and with faith. All of those things. I really do, Mark. I think that's a major part of it. Overwhelm them with joy, patriotism, and faith. It's a big deal in the 250th year of the country. I went out in D.C. Have you been to D.C. recently and seen how beautiful it is?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Brother. I mean, it's like stunning. I can't wait for that reflecting pool to open. I said on my TV show this weekend, we should make it into a reflecting pool, lazy river, and water slide. What do you think?
That would be very Trumpy.
All right, Mark Meckler, I appreciate you being on today. ConventionofStates.com. Anywhere else we can find you?
Yeah, at Mark Meckler on Twitter would be great.
God bless you, brother. Have a glorious rest of your week. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. I guess there's a meme with Rubio and Trump hanging out on lawn chairs in the water, like up to the bottom of the chair, chilling out. I think it's pretty funny. Pretty funny. Oh, yeah, I got something good here. Yeah. I just don't have enough time to do all the things I want to do today. But what a show today, huh? Did we have a good show today? Holy hell. A lot of stuff. We had a couple glitches, technical issues, but, I don't know, probably sunspot activity. I don't know what the hell it is. Who's watching the Wild Bill West? How you doing, Sport Tech? Great show today, Rob. Beck Ottenberry. Thank you. It's been a pretty good show. I mean, Rosiak was amazing, right? Holy shit. So was Tony. Tony was great today. Really, really cool. By the way, I'm looking at a little possibility of a little, it's like a vacation almost trailer in Sussex County, Delaware. Keep your fingers crossed. We'll see what happens. Have to have you up there. WGMD country. That's our great affiliate up there in Rehoboth. It's a wonderful place. Hello, Shelby Inslee. Great show. Jamie Billette. Great show as always. Thank you. Appreciate you. You buoy me. You're the wind beneath my wings. I appreciate you. I'm the hot air in your balloon. Time went fast, Rob. Yeah, thank you. Wild Bill West, you bring it every day. Dude, I try to. I told Mary Walter the other day, I don't wake up. I get fired out of a cannon every day. And I start off the day with a trip by the church, and I had a talk with God, and I came to work, ready to go. Thank you guys for everything. You're the best. Here we go.
You have 4 minutes.
Several top police commanders in Washington, D.C. could be out of a job for allegedly cooking the books when it comes to crime data. Mark Meredith has been looking into all of this, and he joins us now. Hi, Mark.
John, I sure have. Good to see you. D.C. leaders insist the city is a safer place now than it was during the pandemic.
Yeah, because of Donald Trump.
But there are reports
and Janine Pirro.
Multiple metropolitan police leaders may soon lose their jobs amid an investigation into alleged manipulation of crime data. Now, D.C. police...
They lied about the murder rate. They lied about everything to make it look like they were doing a good job, and they were doing a crappy job. Janine Pirro came in. Donald Trump brought in the National Guard when I moved here. Thank you. I didn't expect that kind of a welcome, but it did. It made it great. He did the same thing to Memphis. And you've got Democrats standing in the schoolhouse doors in places like Chicago that could be made as safe as Memphis and as D.C. now. Do you remember PD Chief Pamela Smith? When she left, she resigned because she presided over this crap fest. Here's her one of her departure speeches.
And most folks that watch me in my preaching world, when I turn my head to the left side, I'm about to be Reverend Pamela A. Smith just for a few moments. let's be really clear about one thing. Never would I, never will I ever compromise my integrity for a few crime numbers.
She's getting all preachifying. She's the Reverend Al kind of thing because she's covering up for her own malfeasance and corruption.
I said it and it's on the record. Never would I compromise my
If you talk slow enough, it makes you believable.
love for God, the faith that I had in this city. Never would I compromise
You presided over its descent into the toilet.
my integrity. Never would I
And you lied about the stats to make you look good.
compromise 28 years in law enforcement for a few folk who couldn't stand to be held accountable.
Yeah, it was crap. For 28 years you were in charge. I'm glad you're gone. I hope that you're indicted, to be quite honest. I've waited my entire broadcast career for a moment where young kids in America's inner cities could live an entire life without being shot or without being killed, to have a good school, to have a good career, to raise a family. I've prayed for this my entire broadcast career, and we're on the cusp. We are on the cusp. There's a long way to go. There is a long way to go. Man, we got a hell of a show today. Holy crud. If you get a chance to check out the podcast, if you missed Luke Rosiak on his expose with the Daily Wire of corruption in the state of Ohio, he's on story number 2 with like 5 or 6 of them, and it is gigantic. He looked at Nick Shirley, said, "Hold my beer." Wait till you hear that broadcast. We're going to have him back on, okay? Had him on today. Go to the podcast, usual podcast platform. Tony Kennett from the Daily Signal. He's in Indiana to talk about the cleaning out of the Senate there of rhinos. Fred Fleitz, of course, from America First Policy Institute about the Iran war. Mark Meckler this hour. Great comedy from Jim Gossett. And, of course, brilliant commentary from me, which, you kind of learned to expect. Thank you very much. Just go to your usual podcast platforms. That's why we made it to the number 10 spot in the country for political commentary and in podcasting. So that's something else. And it's because of you guys. It's because of you guys. All right. Have a glorious, glorious, beautiful day. Refuse darkness. Refuse the darkness. Celebrate your life. Every moment of it. It's too short. God bless you, America's founded. Donald Trump and his amazing job, our military kicking butt. And until tomorrow, which is Thursday, do not catch the stupid. I'll see you. Love you.
All right, Robbie, have a good
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.